check one time.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Check, 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 check. Keep going. Okay. Did you need yours checked? Check, check. Checking Randall's mic. Check, check.
Hold it a little way.
Oh, checking, checking. Can you? No. Go away. Go away.
All right, we're back. Welcome to Consequences of Our Culture podcast. I'm Randall,
I'm Stephanie.
and today we will talk about the consequences of starting over. So, we had this podcast originally for maybe a year and a half or 2 years,
I
and
yeah, I think it's been 2 years.
yeah, and we just stopped, just cold turkey. Dropped the last episode, and just gave no explanation. Walked out like we were going to the store for a jug of milk, and just never came back. And you guys didn't deserve that. You guys
Yeah.
deserve better.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about it. So yeah. So it got what really happened is that I used to edit these, and I was working at a certain job that I had access to, like a bunch of computers, a lot of storage, multi monitors. It was a tech job, and yeah, stopped working there, and then it just became harder and harder. Then I had a lot more going on, and then I just felt a little. I didn't feel probably a little overwhelmed, but not necessarily from this. It was just like, what could I, cut out or take a break? Not cut out. We always planned to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what could I take a break from for a little while and stuff? And, that was this. And, but we're going to tell you guys like what we've been up to in the meantime.
Yeah.
You go first, Sal.
Well, yeah, and also it's not just on you. I mean, Brooke and I, you left us with a camera, and we were supposed to at least be recording some stuff, and it just didn't happen. And just like you said, I think just life,
Right.
life happens, y'all. Just
Right.
it is what it is. But I mean, what you been up to in the meantime?
For in the meantime, I worked another job for a little bit, and then I was just like, for like another year, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to college and finally get my degree. And even when we were doing the podcast, towards the last few episodes, I think I had mentioned I was dating someone. And now me and that person are engaged. So it's been a minute. And then I want to say, yeah, I bought a house up there in Colorado. Um yeah, it's just been honestly some of the easiest time in my life. Like now, like I could devote all my time to going to school, and you know, just I have enough money to pay my bills and whatnot, and it's just pretty cool. It's a very easy going. It just sometimes feels surreal how much free time I have,
Yeah.
and it gives no excuse to miss classes or fail or anything. And so
Yeah.
I've been doing good in school too. I've been passing my classes and excelling. So I
That's
mean I should,
good.
because I got nothing but free time, and
Yeah.
now I'm a lot more mature. Me and Steph actually met in college.
Yeah.
First time we went to college
Yep.
back in '09. And like
Yeah.
I was not focused at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
And that ties into starting over too. Cause like
Yeah.
I went to college and now I'm back in college.
Yeah.
In my mid-30s.
Never
Yo,
too late.
And like some of these kids, I'm like, man, these are kids. I was like, my good, like they're 18.
Yeah.
And I'm 34. I'm like, whoa, these people are kids. Like, yo, it brings it all into perspective. Like these people were babies
Yeah.
when we went to college, and now they're in college.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something I decided to start over with, and to have a degree just to have a little bit more backing, and it's definitely been worth it, rewarding, because when we were in college, like I wasn't fucking doing shit. Like I was, oh my goodness, I was wasting my time and money there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now after like life, like
Yeah.
having kids, the army, all of this, and now like it's like I'm so much more responsible and prepared than I was. Like the preparation is crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's I could devote and focus on certain things, and it's been great, honestly. What have you been up to?
Man, that is like a loaded question for me. There's honestly been a lot going on, and like nothing at the same time. It's been a lot of like more internal work. I did get a new job, but before even getting to that, it was like I've just been working on myself, I guess. Like I've always been, a Christian, like I've gone to church like my whole life, grew up in it. But I got to a place where I was just like, I think the depression and anxiety I was having was just overwhelming. And I got to where I got some diagnoses. I don't know how to say that right, but anyway, some diagnoses or whatever.
Right
got diagnosed and got on some medication, and it just opened up everything for me. Like I just never would have anyway. Never would have thought to get on medication. Like I always thought that was just like not, it's just. But it really helped me to kind of like clear my head and be able to think clearly. And then suddenly like everything was falling into place, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Like I've just been heavy in my word lately, like, and having this crazy like craving for God, like and wanting to read my Bible. And even the Bible doesn't even it's not the same as like when I used to read it. Honestly, it used to just bore me to death. Like I used to try so hard to read it, and it just felt like it was just words on the page, and now it feels more alive. And so I mean, and I eventually got off of the meds. Like I don't need them anymore. It helped me to kind of put some things in place, like routines and things like that. So I just have been amazing in that regard, like with my health and my mental health, just feeling so much better. And still there have my rough days sometimes, but overall that has been like the biggest thing. And that's what I mean by like there hasn't been like a lot of changes, like I'm still in the same home, I'm still in Montgomery, that kind of thing, but like I've just changed tremendously as far as my spiritual walk. I'm singing at church, and that's like I would never have done that in the past. But singing in the choir, pretty much just like I don't even go out anymore. Like I don't care to go to clubs or bars and hanging out downtown and all that. I just I really just go to church. I go hiking all the time, like every Saturday, and I just go to church and work and hike, is pretty much it. But also my new job has been amazing, there was just some issues at the last job, and it was time to go. And I'd been looking, and I'd been trying to leave there for so long. And it turned out I needed to be there, and it was really that God was preparing something so much better for me. If I'd gotten any of those other jobs that I thought that I wanted, just would have been, they were not right. This was the one I was supposed to get. So now I'm working for the city, working with the mayor, and it's just every day is different and fun, and I have a great team, and just so life has just been has been really good, but also been some just the growing pains of maturing spiritually and trying to, just that growth, when you go on those spiritual journeys and all of that, and mental health journeys. It's been it's not easy,
No.
but overall, yeah, that's really long story short, just been in my Jesus bag right now. Just that's all I'm focusing on really is,
That's a blessing.
yeah.
And yeah, that's starting over. Like you just like took the evaluation of yourself and
Yeah.
felt like you needed to make a change, and it's made you a better
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
I like what you said about the Bible, like how it was, like it was kind of boring, and now
Yeah.
now like you could like feel it. It feels like it's alive
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I feel like that comes with like maturity or like
Yes.
going through life
Yes.
experiences. I feel like when you're in church, right, and you're just a kid, you're going to church because you're told to go to church, and
Yes.
Yeah. But when you get to that point that you understand like how vital, well, the most vital thing is God for you, and it gets to the point that like you like love God. You're not just saying things because you were saying, because you were like everyone else is saying how they feel about God. You weren't just saying, like you actually start to feel those things.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. It's kind of like blues music in a way, or like you ever heard Eric Benet? Is it Eric Benet or Maxwell? Sometimes I cry, and like
Ooh,
if
I'm
you
not
hadn't
sure.
gone through anything, it's just a beautiful song. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's a cool song. But if you've
Yeah.
gone through like
Yeah.
like a bad breakup or a divorce or
Yeah.
something, like sometimes I cry. You understand that,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how it is with the Bible.
Yeah.
And, and like before they're just stories in a book, but like
Yeah.
after, like there's meanings in that. You could see the meanings. They're telling like lessons and stuff in there. You could like feel it. You've gone through some of those things. So yeah, that's a very like beautiful thing. No,
Yeah.
like working on yourself internally is important. And some people, I feel like some people don't do it. They don't take the time to do it. They
Yeah.
see the world as like a job or something that has a standard. There's something that has to be done. I need to work, and like it doesn't matter. I need to work. It doesn't matter how I feel about things. Things have to get done, and that's true to a certain extent. There's some things you have to do, but you have to like work on yourself, like your mental health. Like you have to work on how you feel. You have to eliminate things that don't align with you. Like some people go to the club with their friends when they don't even like it. They just feel like they have to go out.
Yeah.
They have to do stuff, but you don't. If
Yeah.
that doesn't align with you, stay home.
Exactly.
Like some people feel like they always got to be around people, and like, but when they're around people, they feel uncomfortable. You probably need to be by yourself.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
don't understand how much sometimes I enjoy like just sitting, by myself, or like, watching TV or something, and it's just not going out and staying at home.
Yeah. Same.
So, yeah.
And it's weird because I used to be so like I was everywhere, especially all through college. Like I was just every concert, every every show I could be at, I was there. Any kind of event, and I was like that up to probably the last 2 years or so, or past year. Yeah, I'm like, now I'm just kind of like, I do get a level of anxiety now, and that part I don't like. I don't like that I don't mind not going out, but I want it to be because I want to be at home and all, which I do. I truly enjoy like just being at the house, like in my own space. Love that piece, but also like sometimes I get anxious too when I'm going out, especially if I'm going by myself. I don't really like, I'm not having friends there with me at an event or whatever, and I'm kind of having to like walk up to people that because I know a lot of folks in the city. So, I mean, it's not like I don't go anywhere and not know somebody, but they're more like
Right.
acquaintances, they're not like friends. So, that like having to go out by myself now more is kind of yeah, I get like anxious about that. So that is something I'm working on. That's like my next thing is to kind of get rid of that because I feel like I don't like being anxious. But yeah, I enjoy my time at the house. Like it's, and I hope that for more people. That
Oh, yeah.
I wish that for everybody to experience that being okay
When
with being by yourself.
when you get to like a level of internal peace, like it's almost you don't want to lose that, and you
Yes.
won't let anyone else
Right.
take that away from you.
Right.
Like unless someone like people you could call you out your name or anything like that unless there's like a physical action like I probably just would ignore it because like I'm so concerned with like not getting out of my character and keeping my peace and being comfortable with who I am that I wouldn't you can't even bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. And I think another thing with starting over is that it can be scary to start over. It's like we've talked about how like there's some folks like like maybe in that older generation where they will stay at a job forever. And a lot of times it's because they're afraid to start over. They're afraid of of doing something new and I can understand that. Like I've going into my new job like even though I'd been like trying to leave and it's like this is what I've been wanting, but the moment I had to pick up work, I worked in the construction industry, so the moment I picked up my hard hat in my purse, and it was like that last moment of leaving is when it really hit me that I'm not coming back here. This is the end of this chapter.
That's it.
And I remember like I just started crying because I was like, wait, like, am I doing the right thing? It's kind of scary to, it's like, am I just going into another job that I'm gonna hate 6 months down the road, But
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna
it's
happen.
that uncertainty, like you're jumping out the window, you're taking a risk.
Yeah,
And there's a lot
yeah.
of people who aren't willing to take that risk. I feel like for me, it's a little bit different because before I joined the military, like I had a lot of jobs. I worked a lot of jobs. I usually worked 2 jobs, and I quit some, and I've been fired from some. And I feel like getting fired a lot just made me okay with like
Fired
starting
a
over.
lot.
Yeah, just like it is what it is. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like situations in my life, maybe I caused them or they were like natural, consequences, but have brought me to this point of being comfortable with leaving. Like
Yeah.
the divorces and stuff like that. I've had to start over a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I had to like I've lost a house and I've had to, get my credit up and buy another house. I've had to like, start my family back over. I had to like I've lost all my possessions and I've had to like rebuild everything that I had built before. And like it's just like and that makes you so strong. So when there's a setback, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is just another like thing I got to work on.
Yeah.
It doesn't phase you as much as a person who's been stagnant and
has always had things
th-
this way.
always had
always
everything
had
in
it,
order.
they could
always had
predict
this,
everything that
had
was
the
gonna
same
happen.
job for such
Yeah.
and such. Been with the same person that they don't even like each other at this point.
Right, but
anymore.
that's what they're used
but
to.
They
They're
won't.
just
They
like, you
won't
know what?
leave them because they don't want to jump out the. They don't want to be on their own and
Yep.
start all over.
Better than being alone.
Right.
and
They're just willing
better than
to
starting over.
accept all the trauma and
Yep.
anger and confusion that comes with that. No, like I feel like those situations where I've had to start over makes me completely comfortable with doing it again.
Yeah.
And, I see that as a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
I was like, now I don't necessarily need to work. I have enough residual income that like when I do work sometimes, like I'll take like a, summer job or, something like that, something short and quick. And like they feel like I'm going to be a permanent player, or they feel like I need it. And they talk to me sideways. They talk to me down. That's cool, because in the end, it's going to hurt you.
Right.
Because I'm out of here. You're going to have to figure it out. You feel me? Someone's going to have to do that paperwork.
Right.
It ain't me, though. You feel me? You need this. I don't need this. I'm out.
You like, I done started over a million times. I
You
can do it
feel me?
again.
Like, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing for me, bro. Figure it out. I'll be like, what?
Man, yeah.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, it's and it's like, and then when I feel like when you trust God in that process of starting over, and it's like, it's terrifying. You don't know what's on the other side,
man.
but God does, and He don't always tell you either. He just be like, He might tell you, "Yeah, quit your job," and then it just silence, and it's like, okay, and then what? Like,
Yeah.
and then what? Like, wait, come back. Like, what am I supposed to do after that? But man, I tell you, like, my new job has been just everything that I have been praying for, that I've wanted in a position, has been, it's just been amazing. Like, and it's only been, I think, 4 months, but it feels so much longer. And everybody at work, which I take this as a good thing, is they also feel like I've already been there much longer than what I have
I thought
been.
you had been there for a minute too.
Yeah,
Like,
everybody says that. Like, I don't, and I think it's the amount of the workload. Maybe I don't know. Which is, I'm not complaining about the workload. I mean, it's like I don't feel overwhelmed by any means, but we are always on the move. There's always something, and I just. Yeah, it's every time I come in there, just like, my boss might say something that he's not even, probably doesn't even know. He'll just say something small like, yeah, you're like, man, you're amazing. He might just quit, oh yeah, no, like we make like jokes about somebody getting fired or something, and he might be like, oh yeah, no, if they ever try to come tell me to fire you, he's like, no, he's like, no, you're amazing. You're staying here. Like, he's like, they would have to come through me before that ever happens, or just little things that, even my coworkers like affirming me too. And, and they don't have to do that. They're not my bosses or anything, but just them saying, oh yeah, you're killing it. Like, just little stuff, and being able to have autonomy, like not being micromanaged, just, I do work, and then my boss, he half the time I don't even have to run things through him when it comes to like social media. I just post, and I don't have every single social media post does not have to go through all these processes, so it's just, it feels more freeing, and none of that could have become possible if I had not started over.
That's true.
So
Completely.
yeah, it's so I think, the same thing is going to happen with this podcast. We're gonna,
for sure.
we're gonna keep
for sure.
going.
It's better.
I feel like it was just a pause. It was just a little,
I never
pause.
considered it the end. It was always just
Yeah.
a little break. Probably
Yeah.
a little longer than expected,
Right.
but just a little.
But
break.
it was needed. We needed,
and like if people are watching and they watch, it's an improvement. We had time to get ourselves together better. These conversations will be better. I mean, not saying the other conversations were better, but these conversations were better. The audio's better, the video's better. Like, everything's better, especially if you look at like our first few episodes.
right.
It's like, it looks like it was filmed on a cell phone, and now it's like.
And I thought it was good back then. Honestly,
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, now we're in the big league. So I had a lot of time to devote, and it's important. It's important to, and a lot of people don't realize it's important to take time off for you sometimes. That's why vacations are important. That's why time off from work is important. That's why like breaks are important. But this society and culture, more so, the society of America is very work oriented.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's important to have a society to work, because there are certain things that have to be done and people have to fill those jobs. But I don't know. It's kind of like people work themselves to the grave. People
Yeah.
just work their whole life and never get, you know, much further than where they started, and they die, and that was it.
Right. And that's, I feel like that's not what life is about. It's not
No.
about like working yourself to the bone, and and even like the whole thing with like online with working the side hustles, like us, everybody's got a side hustle. And I mean, a lot of folks need those side hustles. I
Yeah,
get that. Do
at
what you
this
got to do.
point
Like
in this
you kind of
economy,
need one.
yeah, you kind of
know?
need one. Yeah.
I get it, especially if you want to do things, if you want to not just go to work and come home. If you want to, do something a little extra, maybe go on vacation. The side hustles are great cuz living day to day is probably not too bad. You eat, maybe meal prep and stuff like that, but it's really them trying to vacation and do, the extracurricular stuff is what's really been difficult lately. And so I get it, the side hustles are needed, but also some of it too, you want to be careful with not doing them out of like just feeling like you gotta go all the time, and filling every inch of your open time that you have in your schedule. Is like, oh, I'm just sitting here, like I'm watching Netflix, like I could be out there making money. It's like sometimes you need those breaks of sitting there. You need those times of sitting there watching Netflix. Like that's not being lazy, that's rest.
It is.
And you need rest, to be able to sustain. So yeah, it's
Yeah. No, man, it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, it is a testament to how great this country has advanced because everyone is so work oriented. But at the same time, it has affected a lot of people's mental health.
yeah.
And you always have to take time for yourself and start over as necessary.
Yep.
So, yep, that about does it. This was a talk on starting over. I hope who's ever out there, if you're watching this and like you just been worked to the bone, beat like a slave, and you was like,
Wow.
what's going on? I don't feel like I'm stressed out. I need a break. I hope you find
Options
a way
are few.
to like take that break. I hope you find a way to get that mental health. I hope you find that way to the stress, relieve stress, because you deserve it. All right. I'm Randall,
I'm Stephanie.
and this has been Consequences of Our Culture.
Bye.